Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from, just give me 1 minute. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 4, entitled Vidura Approaches Maitreya, Text 14. Lakshmikant Prabhu, can you please confirm, is it 14 or 14 and 15 also? Hare Krishna Prabhu.
I think Prabhu is speaking, but for some reason we are not able to hear him.
I see. Okay. Maybe I can check in this one because 14 doesn't have a purport. So it's 14 and 15. Oh, it is 13. Huh? Prabhu, is it 13? Oh, 13. Okay. Yes, Prabhu. Got it. Yeah. So actually, I'm very sorry for being a little late, but maybe we'll just start without any further delay. Text 13. Puramaya proktam ajayanabhe. I think I'll share the screen. So Puramaya proktam ajayabhinabhye padme nishannaya mamadi sarge nanam paramman mahima vabhasam yatsurayo bhagavatam vadanti. Puramaya proktamajayanaabhye padme nishannaya mamadi sarge gnanam paramman mahima vabhasam yatsurayo bhagavatam vadanti. Puramaya proktamajayanaabhye padme nishannaya mamadi sarge gnanam paramman mahima vabhasam Yatsurayo Bhagavatam Vadanti. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Uddhava, in the lotus millennium, in the days of yore, at the beginning of the creation, I spoke unto Brahma, who is situated on the lotus that grows out of my navel, about my transcendental glories, which the great sages describe as Srimad Bhagavatam. Purport. The explanation of the Supreme Self as given to Brahma and already explained in the second canto of this great literature is further clarified herein. The Lord said that the concise form of Srimad Bhagavatam as explained to Brahma was meant to elucidate his personality. The impersonal explanation of those 4 verses in the second canto is nullified herewith. Sridhar Swami also explains in this connection that the same concise form of the Bhagavatam concerned the pastimes of Lord Krishna and was never meant for impersonal indulgence. I'm sorry. So, yeah. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasa Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. Hare Krishna. First of all, I would like to congratulate all the congregation devotees at ISKCON Naperville, including myself, because I still count myself as a part of ISKCON Naperville, definitely. And for this magnificent temple, which opened recently on April 22nd. And I saw this 3-day event. I was following each and every message. I was actually following the entire YouTube video for most of the time whenever it was possible. I saw the great acharyas who came for the invitation, for inviting Lord Radha Shamsundar to the temple. And I saw all the yagya procedures, all the DT installation procedures that happened. Most of them, I would say, and I felt so much missing the whole event, because I know how each and every devotee desired the temple to be there. Long ago, I heard one statement from my spiritual master. He said that temple is not a structure. Temple is actually devotees. So that actually reminded me. I mean, I was reminded of that statement on the day when I was seeing this grand temple opening here in Naperville. I really remembered that, because the Naperville congregation is very special to me for so many reasons. For so many reasons, I would like to mention a couple of them actually here before we actually go into today's class. I don't know, for some reason, I see our ISKCON Naperville, Lakshmikant Prabhu, dropped off from the call, or maybe
No,
he
Prabhu,
rejoined.
I joined back again. So actually, you were not able to hear me. I thought I'll join from my
I see.
phone.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. So basically, one reason is today, I mean, we are reading from this section where Krishna is exchanging so many things with Uddhava. And there is a similarity between that story and my story. My story, in the sense, the way I thought about, temples in the US, especially because, we were born and brought up, all of us, most of us were born and brought up here. And devotees are practicing bhakti on the other side of the planet from where I am living here. And whatever, after coming to Krishna consciousness, most of the times I simply heard about, why do you want to go to West? It's all Maya. And it's not like, one or two people speaking to me. So many people. Actually, that's why I made up my mind that I will never go to US. That was my strong decision. I never wanted to come to US actually. It was until June of 2019. I never had this desire also to go to US, because from whomever I heard, especially from devotees, of course, whatever I heard is that, oh, if you go to America, it's very difficult to survive there, especially in Krishna consciousness. And definitely you will fall down. There is no chance of practicing Krishna consciousness purely in a country like US. This is what I heard. Just give me 1 minute. Excuse me, Prabhu. I have to take this call. Sorry, this is a live class, but I had to take this, so I'm very sorry about that. So I heard like this from so many devotees, so many of my teachers also. But then, I mean, I was carrying this kind of thought that, I don't want to go to US. But ultimately what happened was, it was all the plan of the Lord. One of my superiors instructed me to just go to US and complete a postdoctoral fellowship, so I can come back to India with some good career in hand. So with this thought, I actually came to the US. And just a minute. Sorry, lot of disturbances. Somehow I just closed this door also. So with this thought, I came, and initially I was so apprehensive, looking at so many devotees who were. I mean, Premananda Mataji was so merciful. She just allowed me to stay. I mean, helped me to stay just across the temple. I saw so many devotees coming in to the temple, and I also got to see so all of you practicing so wonderfully. Then I was still so apprehensive in the beginning. So over a period of time, all my apprehensions have vanished to the thin air. Actually, I have seen that these devotees, all of the Naperville congregation, this is one of the best place to stay on the whole planet. Actually, because the community is so so proper, so well behaved, so properly trained in Krishna consciousness, that anybody who comes in contact with this community will definitely get the taste for practicing bhakti. And definitely we see that through all the preaching programs, through Nam Sankirtans, through book distributions. Every day I read the book distributions course, and it is simply amazing. Within just half year or so, I completely changed my perspective. I never spoke these things to most of you anytime. Only a few devotees know what was there in my heart. But I'm today openly speaking because Radha Shamsundar is also there now, and I wish to share this in front of the Lord. So that's my desire actually. So basically, within 6 months, I changed my entire perspective. I saw that these devotees are so wonderful, so amazing. They are so stable in Krishna consciousness. Practicing in India with so many devotees around, so many protection mechanisms in Krishna consciousness around me was much simpler. But these devotees who are practicing Krishna consciousness on the other side of the planet, where nothing is conducive, including weather, nothing is conducive, but still these devotees are amazingly practicing. It's not that they are just somehow surviving, they are actually thriving in Krishna consciousness. This actually gave me so much of enthusiasm, so much of what to say, security while my stay in the US. I felt really touched, and wherever I go today, after coming back to India, I traveled to several places, met so many people here, including my friends, my seniors, including Radhesham Prabhu I met. And wherever I went, I was simply glorifying the ISKCON Naperville congregation with thousand mouths, just because the impact that was given upon me by this congregation in such a positive way. So I carry this. I'm sure I will carry this throughout my life. And whenever I feel like associating with devotees, the first set of devotees who will come to my mind are definitely from ISKCON Naperville. There is no doubt about this. And why I am saying all this, and it is similar to Uddhava's story also. Why? Because Uddhava was sent to meet gopis. I was hearing the other day, there was a program at my home. The other day, one devotee from the temple came. By the way, actually, I shifted from my old house to a new house where I can actually see ISKCON temple just across the window here. And also the Tirupati Balaji hill is also just across the road actually. So I feel so fortunate and blessed. And this whole building where I am living, this is all filled with devotees only. All the apartments are purchased by devotees. We are the only ones who are staying on rent here. So again, Lord blessed us in this way. Just recently we moved here. So basically, what I was saying is like Uddhava was sent to Vrindavan. The devotee who came to my house from the temple, one brahmachari, he was explaining this, that Uddhava was sent to with a letter to meet all the gopis. In fact, Krishna told Uddhava that you go and give this message to gopis. So Uddhava thought that, okay, I am the person who is going to deliver some message of Krishna to these devotees in Vrindavan. So Uddhava was just like Krishna. Uddhava actually stayed, I mean, he was the person who stayed with Krishna for the longest period of time. You know, in all the devotees who stayed with Krishna, Uddhava was the one who stayed for the longest. And so naturally, Uddhava thought that, he understood, okay, Krishna chose me for a reason. Why? Because I am his intimate associate, and he wanted me to deliver this message to his dear devotees in Vrindavan. So basically, he was carrying this concept along with the letter, and he went to Vrindavan. So, so what happened there was he brought this letter and he was just looking like Krishna. So actually, Vrindavan mein all these gopis saw Uddhava from a distance and they felt like, oh, Krishna is coming. Ultimately, finally, he is returning. So they went close to him. Uddhava looked exactly like Krishna. In fact, he was wearing clothes of Krishna also. Why? Because Uddhava never wore any new clothes. Whatever was left by Krishna, he used to wear those clothes. So in that sense, Uddhava looked exactly like Krishna. Huh? So his color was, complexion was like Krishna. His voice was like Krishna. His appearance was like Krishna. His dressing was like Krishna. Everything was like Krishna only. But when gopis came closer, then they saw that, oh, this is not Krishna. They felt a little embarrassed. And then Uddhava said, here I come as a representative or a messenger from your beloved Lord Krishna. And he sent this letter. He just, held the letter in his hand. Immediately, all these gopis fell on Uddhava, tore apart this letter into small pieces, and they were holding that letter so dear to their heart. And this devotee was telling me that for them, the content of the letter did not matter. For them, what mattered was Krishna remembered us and sent this letter. So Krishna's hand would have touched this letter. Krishna would have thought about us while writing this letter. That was sufficient for them. They did not bother about what Krishna wrote. They simply took that piece, whatever piece was, within a fraction of a second, that whole letter became million pieces, and each gopi was holding one piece. And this actually brought tears to the eyes of Uddhava. And Uddhava thought, what kind of love these people are carrying for Krishna? I haven't seen it anywhere. It is so amazing that Krishna simply sent his letter and these devotees grabbed it and they actually made it into small pieces and they are holding it to their heart. This actually made Uddhava think so deeply. He thought, just like I was thinking, okay, there are some devotees there. Excuse me. We have our guest, His Grace Uttamanand Prabhu here with us. So yeah, Uddhava was thinking that, oh, Krishna gave this letter and these gopis were so fond of Krishna's letter, they just ripped it and took it away within a moment. So they actually stayed back. Uddhava stayed back in Vrindavan for some time. And then he was observing how these gopis were worshipping Krishna. Actually, Krishna was not there in person. But then these devotees, gopis, never left Krishna even for a moment. Throughout their lives, they lived like that. And Krishna is also living like that in Vrindavan. He was constantly thinking of gopis. In fact, the queens of Vrindavan, they used to see Krishna in the night time. And night time, Krishna is constantly remembering Gopi, Gopi, like that. Different names of gopis he was remembering. So, in this way, Krishna never forgot Vrindavan. Krishna always carried Vrindavan in his heart. And in fact, the devotees in Vrindavan never forgot Krishna. So they were never lost to each other. But the whole episode happened because Uddhava had to learn a lesson. And the lesson was to understand what is the love of gopis for Krishna. So that is what he understood. And later, of course, Uddhava wanted to remain in Vrindavan for some time. Of course, he remained there for some time. And after that, of course, Krishna had other mission for Uddhava. We are reading this section here. So basically, these gopis, when Uddhava met them in Vrindavan, after taking this letter, they started crying tears out of love for Krishna. And the tears became what is called a kund, a small kund formed in the land of Vrindavan. And that kund, what is the name of that kund? It is not Gopi Kund. It is Uddhav Kund. Why? Because gopis felt like, okay, you came here carrying the message of Krishna, because of which we remembered Krishna so intensely. So let it be your name. So Uddhava got this benefit, not only in this case, there is other case also. You know what? In the 11th or 12th canto, we will see Uddhava Gita. When Krishna spoke the message to Arjuna, it was called Bhagavad Gita because Krishna spoke it. So it's natural that the name should be Bhagavad Gita because Bhagavan spoke it. But when Krishna spoke the same message to Uddhava, that is named as Uddhava Gita, not Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because again, Krishna also was in the same mood of gopis. So gopis let Uddhava name that kund on his name. I mean, that is known as Uddhava Kund. And Uddhava also is not less. He never thought, okay, I am so great. What he felt is like, in near this kund, I'll be like a small creeper lying down on the floor, and let all the devotees come and step, devotees of Vrindavan, let them come and step on my head. So I can also get their dust and become a devotee like them. So this was Uddhava's aspiration. So basically, Uddhava learned so much after coming to Vrindavan. He learned about how gopis love Krishna. This is what he learned. In today's section, actually, Krishna is speaking to Uddhava also. But then there was this Maitreya also. I think he comes in the next verse. I'm not sure if that is. Let me just see. I don't want to do this because tomorrow some other speaker will be doing this, reading this. But I just wanted to see this. Uddhava said, "O Vidura, when I was thus favored at every moment by Supreme Personality of Godhead and addressed by him with great affection, my words failed in tears and hairs on my body erupted. After smearing my tears, I with folded hands spoke like this." So Uddhava is explaining, narrating this whole incident to Vidura. So basically, Uddhava is going to send Vidura to Maitreya after this conversation. And this is kind of prelude to the whole event. Why? Because initially Vidura approached Uddhava. Uddhava was not in a state of speaking because he was constantly remembering Krishna. He was not able to speak properly because of that remembrance. So Uddhava sent Vidura to Maitreya. So this whole section is what Uddhava is speaking to Vidura. And in that he was explaining what happened with him earlier. So here we see Krishna is speaking to Uddhava. "O Uddhava, in the lotus millennium, in the days of yore, at the beginning of creation, I spoke unto Brahma, who is situated on the lotus that grows out of my navel, about my transcendental glories, which the great sages describe as Srimad Bhagavatam." This is none other than the 4 Chatushloki Bhagavatam. Ahamevasame sad aham param. So these verses are there, the set of 4 verses which were discussed in the second canto. So that is what Krishna is speaking to Uddhava, saying that, so these are the verses which great sages describe as Srimad Bhagavatam. In fact, this whole Srimad Bhagavatam is nothing but the expansion of those 4 verses. So in the purport also, Prabhupada actually tells this and quotes Sridhar Swami. The explanation of Supreme Self as given to Brahma and already explained in the second canto of this great literature is further clarified. So that is referring to the 4 verses. The Lord said that the concise form of Srimad Bhagavatam as explained to Brahma was meant to elucidate his personality. So he was explaining that in this, what we heard in the second canto, Lord is confirming it here. The impersonal explanation of those 4 verses in the second canto is nullified herewith. So this is again and again. One thing that I observed is that Prabhupada, whenever he gets an opportunity, he doesn't leave it to write or to comment against Mayavad philosophy. So that is his mission, it seems like. If we see the second prayer of Srila Prabhupada's Pranati Mantra, he himself wrote it. Generally, a very qualified disciple writes Pranati Mantra for his spiritual master. And in the glorification of spiritual master, explaining the different activities, different achievements that the spiritual master had. But then in Prabhupada's case, it's a little different. And Prabhupada was training his disciples. There was no one who was very well qualified at that time. Of course, now there are, they are the most qualified people on the planet, in fact. So basically, at that time, Prabhupada actually wanted to give the mission statement, his mission statement to his disciples. And that's why he said, after we say Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitanamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. So Prabhupada's mission was that Nirvisesha Shunyavadi. So he was against this 2 philosophies. Nirvisesha is voidism. Shunyavadi is voidism. Nirvisesha is kind of Nirakar. That's what I heard. And of course, Prabhupada was very strong against Mayavad also. So basically, this kind of Mayavad explanation for Srimad Bhagavatam sorry, is not compatible. That's why great acharyas like Shankaracharya wrote a commentary on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It's a kind of Mayavad Bhashya. But then they never dare to touch Srimad Bhagavatam, because taking Srimad Bhagavatam and proving that Lord is actually a product of Maya is impossible. Even for a person like Shankaracharya, it is impossible. That's why Shankaracharya never gave any commentary to Srimad Bhagavatam. Rather, the followers of Shankaracharya actually say that Puranas are not very very authentic, or they say that they are not on an equal level to Upanishads. This is what they say. But of course, we know that Srimad Bhagavatam is a very special Purana. Why? Because Vyasadeva wrote it in his maturity. After writing Vedanta Sutra, Vyasadeva wrote it as a commentary, natural commentary to Vedanta Sutra. And that's why we see so many verses from there to here also. We can very clearly see, like Janmadhyasya Atha is one such verse, which is appearing in Vedanta Sutra also here. And it is the 64 verses of Vedanta Sutra are expanded in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam through so many pastimes. So a reader can easily understand. And of course, Puranas flow like that. Puranas are events that are not necessarily chronologically explained, but they actually explain certain theme of the Shastra. And Srimad Bhagavatam very clearly explains the theme of pure devotional service that is established in the second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam itself. So Sridhar Swami also explains in this connection that the same concise form of Bhagavatam concerned the pastimes of Lord Krishna and was never meant for impersonal indulgence. So Sridhar Swami also supports this. In fact, all the acharyas that are there in our line, not only in our line, if we see any Vaishnava line, in fact, Prabhupada actually says at one place that Madhvacharya and Ramanujacharya, they both actually spoke so much against Mayavada philosophy that they acted like someone who broke the teeth of poisonous snake called Mayavad. That's what Prabhupada said at one place, that especially Ramanujacharya and Madhvacharya, those two devotees, those two great acharyas did this. And the place where I'm staying now, Tirupati, is filled with so many Vaishnava Sampradaya, so many Vaishnava devotees. They come every day, thousands of pilgrims, they come here, they visit. Of course, most of them may not have very, what to say, very deep realization or deep understanding of what is Mayavad, what is Advaitavad, what is Nirvisheshavad, or what is Dvaitavad, what is Vaishnavism. These things they may not know. But Lord Balaji is personally standing here. They have this faith. And because of this faith, millions of devotees are actually coming here every day and they worship Lord. In fact, they don't know. If we straightforward make a question like, what is the difference between worshipping a demigod and worshipping Balaji? They may not be able to answer. They may say, okay, all of them are same. But still, Balaji is so merciful that he is simply standing here, giving everyone an opportunity to come and participate in pure devotional service. Right? So even though it is without our knowledge, we may get benefited. Like Prabhupada gives this example of someone taking a medicine without knowing the potency of the medicine, but still the medicine may act irrespective of whether the person knows the potency or not, knows the effectiveness, efficacy of the medicine or not. Similarly, Lord Balaji is standing here on the hills of Tirumala just to actually give his association to everyone who come here, just like Lord Krishna is giving his association to Uddhava and Maitreya. So Vidura will get benefited in future. That was his longer vision. So Balaji also is standing here with that great vision that people of Kali Yuga are going to. So they are actually doing so many illicit activities, so many nonsense activities. None of them is going to. In fact, all of them are going to put them in hellish condition. But then Bhagavad Gita says, Neha Bikramana Swasti Pratyavayo Navidyate Swalpamapyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. People take so much endeavor to visit this place. They plan for months ahead because nothing is so easy in the sense like, you come here and everything is comfortable. It doesn't happen like that. You may have to book tickets in advance. You all know this, like, rooms in advance. If you know some kind of connection, then they come for some kind of special break darshan or something like that. And Balaji is simply standing there, uh, welcoming everyone, and asking them to take to the process of pure devotional service as given by acharyas like Ramanujacharya. Because Ramanujacharya, long ago when he came here, he actually came to this place. He first sent his disciple Anantacharya. Anantacharya actually stayed with Balaji for so long, and he created the Pushkarini pond. He created the flower gardens for Lord Balaji's pleasure. After some time, when Ramanujacharya, his spiritual master, comes here, Ramanujacharya actually thought that this hill is so sacred that I cannot step on this hill. In fact, Ramanujacharya wanted to take Balaji's darshan. He came only once here. And at that time also, he walked all the way to Balaji's temple on his knees. He did not let the legs or feet touch the hill. He never, he did not let that happen because he considered this hill to be so sacred. And it's not easy. Even today, if someone wants to walk after giving so much facility of, there are so many steps, all nice facilities on the way, buses are there. Even in that case, if we want to walk from bottom of the hill, just from here near to my house to the top of the hill, it takes not less than 4 to 5 hours. For even a very person who is in very good healthy condition, it takes 4 to 5 hours on an average. But then Ramanujacharya took the trouble of walking this hill on knees, and he also did not eat anything for the 3 days when he was staying here, just because he thought that if he eats, then he has to attend to nature's calls, right? And he did not want to contaminate this place with such activities. That's why he did not even eat anything when he was here. He considered this hill to be so sacred, and Balaji personally is standing here with Lakshmi and Padmavati. So what, this is a little deviation from what we were discussing till now, but I wanted to share this because I felt that this will give a lot of happiness to all the devotees at Naperville. I was praying for all of you at Balaji's temple. In fact, I was praying that the temple manifests soon and Radha Shyam Sundar stands on the altar, give blessings to all the devotees all over Naperville as well as the whole world. And his glories may spread all over the world through various devotees who are present in Naperville. That's what I was praying, in fact, a few days ago before the temple was opened. And today I had the great opportunity to actually go to the hill, go to visit Balaji, and we had this Kalyanotsavam today. So myself and Rajamohini, along with our children, we had this great opportunity of sitting in the marriage ceremony of Lord Balaji with Lakshmi and Padmavati. It was such a blissful event. Although there were hundreds of devotees in that hall, we got placed somewhere at the back, at the end. But just looking at this activity, just being a part of this activity, just like when you go to any big person's marriage, how it looks like. So it was just like that. Balaji was so happily smiling, and in his Utsav Murti, whose name is Malayappa Swami. And then there were Lakshmi and Padmavati who were kept on a different asam. Balaji was kept on a different asam. And just like how we see in our marriages, there is a cloth separating the boy and girl before the marriage, right? And there is a yagya, and all these priests were chanting so beautifully. It was so nice to hear. And on the other side, this what do we call the Mangala Vaidya? We call the the different musical instruments were being played for the pleasure of Balaji. And in that auspicious atmosphere, there were these, so many activities happened during the wedding ceremony or marriage ceremony of Balaji with Lakshmi and Padmavati. One thing which I observed was they spoke about the pravara. If you know what is pravara is nothing but the lineage. So they speak about the rishis in whose lineage someone appears. So I remember I could not get it properly for Lakshmi Devi, but for Balaji, the lineage was through Bharadwaja's rishi. And for Padmavati, it was through Kasyapa Rishi. So, and for Lakshmi also, there were 5 rishis they spoke, but I could not grasp it properly actually. So they spoke about this lineage, and then they exchanged the garlands, and they also did this Mangal Sutra, wearing of Mangal Sutra. Lord actually, on behalf of the Lord, the Purohit or the priest who is there, he actually does the whole ceremony. And then after that, there was this event of playing, like in our marriages also it happens, right? Like there is a boy and girl who are made to sit opposite to each other, and they play the ball, like the flower ball. They play that game, and also they play this picking the ring. All these things also happened in front of Balaji. After that, after the exchange of garlands, in the beginning itself, they were worn with beautiful silken cloths. And after that, this happened. I mean, the marriage happened, and I don't know what to call this in English, but there is something called talambralu. Talambralu, those who are from Telugu, they will understand. Like they have this rice mixed with turmeric and so many other precious stones. They are offered on the head of, the girl offers it on the head of the boy, and the boy offers it on the head of the girl. And this ceremony also took place. And after that, they officially concluded the marriage, and everyone was given very close darshan of Malayappa Swami, who is the Utsav Murti. And then the prasadam was given, and then we were allowed to take darshan of Balaji inside the temple. Of course, the whole event happened within 45 minutes or so, after which we came outside. But looking at this whole event, I felt so happy, and I had this thought that every living entity in this world wants to enjoy, right? Everyone wants to enjoy. Sorry. So, but we all search for enjoyment depending on which mode we are in. Person in mode of goodness, person in mode of passion, person in mode of ignorance. Different people search for happiness in different ways. Every living entity, in fact, searches for happiness in different ways. And where is this tendency of searching for happiness coming from? It is coming from the soul. Where is the tendency of searching in different ways coming from? It is because of the influence of the 3 modes. So the soul, pure soul, when it is bound by the conditions of the 3 modes, it actually starts searching for happiness in perverted places. Like we all might have heard this several times, that when we water the root of the tree, we also, the trees, all the branches gets nourished. Similarly, when we make Krishna happy, we will also become happy. And one of the happiest situation or happiest incident or event that can happen in anyone's life is marriage, right? Marriage is one of the happiest events that one can think of in one's life. And this marriage for Balaji happens every day. It is called Nitya Kalyanam. Nitya Kalyanam, every day there is marriage of Balaji with Lakshmi and Padmavati. And this event, if we actually become open to take pleasure in looking at Balaji getting married to Lakshmi and Padmavati, we naturally become happy also. We don't, in fact, we actually give up the tendency to hanker for pleasures of this world, because that event itself is so beautiful that it is simply reminding me of what would happen in the Vaikuntha Lokas actually. The same incident is happening here. And after that, Lord is taken to, along with Lakshmi and Padmavati, they are taken to another place where they are given this seva of Unjal. They are put on a swing, and all these priests are nicely swinging the Lord when there are few devotees who are singing nice bhajans for the Lord. And Lord takes rest for some time, and again he goes back to the main temple, sanctum sanctorum. After that, again in the evening, he is brought back. Again, he is woken up in the evening, and again there is a Unjal Seva for him. And after that, he comes out for what is called Sahasrati Palankarana Seva. That there are 1,000 lamps which are lit, and Lord is sitting amongst those lamps, in between those lamps, and there are pujaris who are swinging. And at that time, there are songs sung by different devotees who come here from so long, from different places. They sing 4 songs every day for the Lord. And it is so beautiful to hear those songs These songs are written by, two are written by Annamacharya and two are written by one Purandar Das. So two songs from Annamacharya and two songs from Purandar Das are everyday sung. And these are different songs. Of course, Annamacharya alone wrote 32,000 songs on Balaji. And two of them are sung every day. And Purandar Das also wrote more than some 70-80,000 songs on Lord Krishna. Those are also sung along with so many Vedic hymns are chanted. So after that, Lord goes on a tour around the temple actually, and there are two elephants who go in front, and behind that the Lord actually goes on a procession. So whatever prayers I offered for Naperville temple was always in this Sahasradipalankara Seva, because this is the event where everyone can participate. Even if you don't know, if you cannot go inside the temple, you can still participate. You don't even have to take ticket. You just sit outside and you can actually participate in the whole event. And this event is also so beautiful. They do it so meticulously. They do it, and just looking at Lord enjoying this kind of bhoga, we can say, that gives so much satisfaction to the heart. Also, that also tells us that there is a deep connection between the soul and the Lord. Given my condition, I am such a fallen soul. I should not be getting any kind of some kind of great ecstatic feelings. That's not my cup of tea. But still, sitting in these events with so many thousands of devotees around, and everyone is chanting Govinda, Govinda, that actually brings so much joy to the heart that it just makes us forget of our tendency to enjoy separately from Krishna. This naturally happens. And after, of course, I am such a person that as long as I am with devotees, I remember I am devotee also. When I come outside of devotees, I forget that I am a devotee. I completely forget. So same thing happens to me. Many times it happened. I observed it here. But fortunately, I know that, maybe Balaji was thinking that, this fellow Sri Kishore Das will not be able to survive himself anywhere in bhakti. So he brought me here and put me here under his direct supervision. So just like a student who is not very sincere or who is not very studious or not very intelligent, teacher takes special care. Teacher asks, "Oh, come and sit in the first bench. I want to constantly keep a watch on you." So I feel like, Balaji calling me here is something very similar to that. That, you are going everywhere, America and this place and that place. You don't deserve to be there. So you better come here, sit in the first bench. I want to observe you. So that's what I felt actually. And this kind of care Lord takes of each and every devotee. Some devotees do not need so much care. Why? Because they are all trusted servants or trusted representatives of Lord. They can actually go from places like Vrindavan to America and make the whole America into Vrindavan. We have the example of Srila Prabhupada. They are trusted representatives of the Lord. Here in the case, we have Uddhava. We have Uddhava here. Uddhava actually was sent by Krishna. You go, you are my trusted messenger. And of course, in this pastime, Acharyas write so many different realizations in Uddhava's pastime. And in the case of Maitreya also, Maitreya was a kind of rishi. He was not like Uddhava. His rasa with Krishna was not so mature. So he arranged for Maitreya to come and hear this whole conversation between Krishna and Uddhava. So he can actually get that realization of pure devotional service in his heart. That is one purpose. And the second purpose is Vidura is coming. Vidura is going to come and meet Maitreya. He is going to meet Uddhava, who is going to direct him to Maitreya. And Maitreya has to deliver this message. So both Shravanam and Kirtanam were for Maitreya were personally planned by the Lord. Right? So in fact, Lord actually takes care of his devotees like this. So you have some inclination for the Lord, Lord actually reciprocates. He reciprocates, like Maitreya had this inclination, so he was put into association of Uddhava. In fact, Krishna himself gave his association. And then Vidura came and Maitreya was delivering the message, just like Uddhava was delivering the message to gopis. So Maitreya was delivering the message to Vidura. So in that whole episode, who were all nourished? Uddhava was nourished, gopis were also nourished, Maitreya was nourished, Vidura was also nourished. Right? So you can see Krishna plans like that. Krishna plans like, so everyone gets nourishment. And who is the source of nourishment? That is Krishna himself. Krishna acts as a source of nourishment for all of us. The more we take in Krishna, the more we feel nourished in Krishna consciousness. The more we take in Maya, the more we feel weak in Krishna consciousness, right? And Maya generally is very strong in this world. It's very, very strong. Unless we are with, we are in the association of wonderful communities like Naperville Temple, it's impossible to stay out of Maya. It's impossible actually. And if you stay there, after coming here, I am realizing now that, each and every devotee who are present on this call, who are present in Naperville, who are not present on this call, everyone were personally taking care of me. And they actually nourished me in my Krishna consciousness. And maybe that is what made me qualified to come and stay in a dham. I don't even have a qualification to stay here. So basically, Krishna plans his, the nourishment program is so wonderful. Krishna's nourishment program. Just like we have this food for life programs, right? We think of nourishment of so many others, like so many living entities, in fact, not only human beings. Sometimes, like I know Sandeep Prabhu and his team were doing this. I know they are even doing it now, that they go for this food for life. Once in a while, once in a month or so, they have their whole team who work together, take the prasadam to people who may never come to temple actually, right? This is a nourishment program. They are getting food for the body as well as food for the soul. Just like devotees are like this, Krishna also is like that. So you see, Krishna and devotees act very similarly. How do we pray to Krishna? We say, Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindho, Deenabandho Jagatpate, Gopesha, Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namostate. How do we pray to devotees? Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya, Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha. Both are oceans of mercy only. Krishna is also ocean of mercy, and devotees are also ocean of mercy. In fact, we all can become like that, provided how much we are ready to become instruments in the hands of Krishna. The more we are open, willingly wanting to be instruments in the hands of Krishna, the more there is a chance of Krishna using us as an instrument of mercy for this world. In the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam, we can see such characters everywhere. Everywhere we can see. In this case, we see Uddhava and Maitreya. And then there are so many other cases also. In fact, Narada was such an instrument actually. You see, most of the cases in Srimad Bhagavatam were transformations brought by Narada. So Narada came and instructed Vyasadeva that you should write the Srimad Bhagavatam as a glorification of Lord Krishna. In fact, Srimad Bhagavatam was already written before by Vyasadeva. But then Narada came and said, kick out all Kaitava Dharma, write exclusive glorification of Sri Krishna. That only will satisfy your heart. This he gets in the first canto, this instruction. And Vyasadeva is a very intelligent disciple. He is not a mediocre student. He was a very, very intelligent, sharp disciple. He understood that glorification of Krishna is what is instructed by my spiritual master. In fact, glorification of Krishna is very wonderful. That actually nourishes everyone's heart. But if I can glorify the devotees who carry Krishna within their heart, that is even more wonderful. And that's why, if we see the entirety of Srimad Bhagavatam, we see the disciples of Narada Muni. Wherever we go, we see Narada Muni's disciples only. Why is it so? Because Vyasadeva wanted to glorify his spiritual master, who is so instrumental in making the whole world, whole universe Krishna conscious actually, right? And that is why we see the glorification of Narada Muni everywhere in Srimad Bhagavatam. Take the story of Prahlada, Dhruva, those are famous stories. We can see the story of Ambarish, we can see the story of Prachetas, we can see any story in Srimad Bhagavatam, any pastime in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is all, of course, it appears as glorification of Lord. That is true, 100% true. But in fact, that is also glorification of Narada Muni, which Vyasadeva wanted to pay as a tribute, as an offering to Narada Muni, that this wonderful devotee transformed the whole universe like this. If you see, Bhagavatam in one sense is, we have the description of all the Manus, right? In every Manu's life, Narada Muni is there. In every Manu's life, Narada Muni is there and he's transforming one of their descendants actually, right? So this is so wonderful. So Krishna is ocean of mercy, but then many times we see that the ocean may not be accessible to us. Like for example, I am in Tirupati, there is no seashore here. It's not accessible. But devotees are the carriers of water from that ocean in the form of rain clouds. Rain is available here. Ocean may not be there, but the rain is there. Rain is there even in the innermost parts of the country. So that's why we say the samsara davana lalidhaloka tranaya karunya ghana ghanatvam. So basically, the spiritual master brings that rain, just like Uddhava is carrying that rain here. He is representing this cloud of mercy, which is taking from Krishna. Similarly, Brahma was like that. In fact, if we read the today's translation, we can see that Krishna is saying that at the beginning of creation, I spoke unto Brahma, who is situated on the lotus that grows out of my navel. So you can see that Brahma is also that kind of carrier, that kind of cloud, which is carrying the mercy of Sri Krishna. And in the today's world, we can see, like, by Prabhupada's mercy, these kind of rain clouds are everywhere. We only have to go and tap their mercy, right? They are present everywhere on the planet. Like, I know one devotee was sharing this with me. He said, like, wherever I went, he traveled so much, he's my very close friend. He traveled so much around the world. And he told me that, any corner I went, I was able to find somebody chanting on the beats, wearing dhoti kurta, putting tilak and chanting on the beats, happily chanting on the beats. He also went to South Africa. There also he found some people. So you can see how much Prabhupada's mercy actually inundated the whole world. We only become unfortunate if we don't want to get wet in this rain. We hold an umbrella, put a raincoat around us, then we are the people who block this mercy, right? Most of the cases, this is what happens. If we want to access Krishna's mercy, it is present everywhere. If we don't want to access Krishna's mercy, you will never be able to access. Nobody will be able to access if we don't approach it with proper attitude, right? So that's why Prabhupada actually writes this statement in Nectar of Instruction that advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the practitioner, right? So I'm not keeping track of time. Someone can tell me, just give me 1 minute, please. Prabhu?
8:33, Prabhu.
8:33, yeah. So yeah, I'll keep on going like this. Sorry for for being late in the first place, and also I did not look at the watch. So please forgive me. I have gone 3 minutes beyond my stipulated time. If anyone has one comment or one question, maybe we can take that and close today's class. Thank you very much for your patience. Hare Krishna. What I spoke may not make much sense, just because I was so much, I jumped into the class in one sense, because I went to this Kalyanotsavam, and by the time I came here, it was already time for class and my door was locked. My mother was somewhere inside and I was unable to open. So I was frantically running around the whole building, asking devotees, calling my sister who has Gadadhar Chandra Prabhu's number, trying to get his number and trying to contact him. But somehow by the time all this happened, my mother opened the door and I was able to come in. So that's why it got a little delayed for me. So please forgive me for that. Any comments? Any questions? I request all of you to please offer prayers from my side to Radha Shyam Sundar, my whole family side. We are just eager to come and take their darshan, and all of you also, of course. Yes, Prabhu, you wanted to say something?
No, there are few devotees. Sorry, there are few devotees hearing from temple, Prabhu. I think there are now one Zoom, Amrit Keli Mataji, Pandran Gopal Prabhu, Vrindavan Puvendal, I think. So, Balram Prasad Prabhu, maybe.
Hare Krishna. I hope I did not speak anything so informally, because it is in the temple.
No, so, want to share.
Sorry if I spoke anything like that. So I seek blessings of all those great Vaishnavas also who are assembled in the temple hall. Please keep praying for us. Your prayers alone will keep me alive. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hey, Prabhu, please
Hare
accept all
Krishna.
obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for enlivening us so much. You're saying prayers of all those great Vaishnavas are the only hope. So we are feeling the same with your prayers, with your Bhagavatam discussion. It's amazing. It's wonderful. We have this beautiful temple and the deities. But I was going to ask, the next time when you go to Balaji, Please pray that all of our hearts would be open to receive the mercy that's being given and have immense respect and gratitude to each other, because the bigger facility and bigger, everything, it comes with bigger challenges.
Yes,
So yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I mean, just Shishirada Shamsundar presence. I mean, it's unimaginable. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu is so sweet, and Radha Madhav. So thank you so much for your love and affection for ISKCON Nepal and all the devotees. It's just somehow touched my heart very deeply, because when we see the devotees very closely, we may forget what is deep within their hearts and just focus on the external aspects. Why did they do this, or why did they say this, and things like that. But just hearing from you, it just shifted the perspective to the deeper aspects, and really appreciate. I mean, so many devotees, it's just not, in a sense, humanly possible, some of the services. What the devotees have done here, just moved into this new temple and like 10 weddings together. You're describing Balaji's wedding, Kalyana Mahotsavam. It's so beautiful and so sweet. So something like that we are able to do, it's only by their empowerment and their mercy and the presence of so many of Srila Prabhupada's disciples. It was just so amazing. So I'm just praying and hoping your discussion somehow brought that. If each of us somehow take that into our heart and consciously cultivate that kind of respect and gratitude and appreciation for each other, I think this place would be just like Vaikuntha as you're describing.
of course, it's
Thank
already
you.
like that.
So kindly
I would like
pray for that next time.
definitely, Mataji. I would like to say this very clear, openly, Mataji, that I am able to keep my sanity just because of thinking of all the devotees in Naperville. Just by thinking. I remember one of my teachers told me long ago that I had to go out of the association of devotees for some purpose, for a couple of years. And at that time, I really felt so disturbed. I never wanted to go to that place. But then my teacher told me that you have to go there for the whatever is needed to be done. Please go there. But remember, always cherish, always try to remember whatever happened between you and other devotees when you were in the association of devotees. So many things might have happened, like so many exchanges between devotees might have happened. So he said, like, just by remembering these things, you are already in the association of those devotees. So he told me that, I think almost like 15-16 years ago now I am again realizing the same statement now, Mataji. There is not a single day I passed without remembering all the devotees at Naperville. To any temple I go, here in Tirupati or wherever I go, I mean, most of the times I am here. So I go to there is a place near to my house which is called Padala Mandapam, this Alipiri, where devotees start walking onto the top of the hill. There, Balaji actually personally came and left his footprints there. So most of the times I go there, and I pray for each and every devotee of Naperville. I pray for the welfare. I pray for the what do we call congenial relationships between devotees of Naperville. Daily I pray. I mean, whenever I go there, I pray for that Mataji. Whenever I go to Balaji or any other temple, I make it a point that I offer prayers for the well-being of each and every devotee at ISKCON Naperville. Mataji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Feel so blessed to be in your prayers and in touch with the great abode. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
By
Hare
by
Krishna.
remembering all of you, at least I feel so connected with all of you, Mataji. That's the reason I pray actually.
Hare Krishna. It's a great blessing to hear you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. You have such a big heart, actually. I mean, you have so much appreciation and what do you call gratitude for the devotees. small and big, right? So I mean, at least my only, please pray if I can develop bit of it. So thank you so much, Prabhu. It is
You are
very
already
nice.
much ahead, Prabhu. By praying for you, I get purified. That's my feeling, Prabhu.
Uh,
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very
Prabhu.
much, Prabhu. Thanks to all the Vaishnavas who are assembled in the temple hall also. Please keep me in your prayers. Please offer my obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha Madhav and Radha Shyam Sundar and also to each and every devotee present there. So I can remember all of you and walk in your footsteps. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. हरे कृष्ण.
Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
हरे कृष्ण.